came back doses high enough to kill somebody. And all of a sudden, light bulbs went off, and we realized that my grandmother was in peril.
It was determined that Nona was also had been given arsenic. Once it was determined that they had ingested arsenic, the investigation started again. And of course, Pat was the number one suspect.
On August 6, 1976, 39-year-old Pat Allenson is arrested on 2 first-degree attempted murder charges. Her trial begins 9 months later.
My mother's trial was horrible. It was heartbreaking. She dressed every day in her little dresses that she made and loved with frilly things and all. And she was stone-faced during the whole trial, never showed any emotion whatsoever. She testified in her behalf, and it was so horrible.
On May 6, 1977, Pat is found guilty and sentenced to 2 10-year terms. Still behind bars, Tom divorces Pat. But that's hardly where this story ends.
It was just so bizarre. I was like, you could write this if you were a Hollywood writer.
After serving 8 years in prison, Pat is paroled in 1984.
I always personally felt like that if you poison somebody with arsenic, it's one of those horrible ways anybody could die. And I felt like she should never have gotten out of jail from that.
2 years later, Pat gets a job as an in-home nurse for a Parkinson's patient named James Christ.
James and Elizabeth Christ were a wealthy Atlantic couple, prominent in society, and they were living in a very fancy neighborhood. Mr. Christ had Parkinson's disease. His wife, Elizabeth, was 76 years old and in good health. They had 2 grown sons and a daughter, but she needed someone to help her with her husband. They had a mansion that lived in.
The Christs are charmed by Pat's sunny personality and take-charge attitude. But surprise, surprise, things don't go so swimmingly soon after Pat is hired.
The Christ health seemed to be deteriorating. Mrs. Christ, who was in good health before, seems to be somewhat out of it.
Inside.
And Mr. Christ seems to sleep all the time.
A few months later, Mr. Christ dies. But as time goes by, the family comes to suspect there was some serious misconduct going on.
There was obviously a lot of things going on that should not have been going on. Pat had changed it off.
But soon the law comes calling, and one investigator has questions that go all the way back to the Allenson murders.
She thought no one could touch her, no one as smart as her.
I thought, no, this cannot be happening.
Saturday on an all-new Pretty Dangerous, Shirley wanted it all.
I just like nice things.
And knew how to get it.
She is the ultimate thief.
Gold digger is too nice of a word.
Then on an all-new Poisoned Passions, a devout Christian wife is seduced by her charismatic pastor.
David is a master.